Hello, my name is Rebecca Williams, and I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes or so walking you through Microsoft's strategy for our hosting service providers. The next few years are going to be pivotal in the change and transformation to cloud, and I know some of you may be on that journey already. And I wanted to share with you a view from Microsoft on what we're doing and how we are working with some of our partners, such as Arrow, in this changing world. So how does Microsoft think about the cloud? So our new CEO, Satya Nadella, has released our worldwide strategy, and it essentially is made up of three parts. It's made up of our cloud OS, our cloud operating system, and our device operating system and hardware. And in the middle of that is customers and end users. So how do people interact with the technology, and how do people use the platform that they need? You may have heard Satya Nadella talking about a mobile-first, cloud-first world. For him, they're equal. So to be mobile is to be cloud, and to be cloud is to be mobile. So that is Microsoft's strategy. We will reinvent productivity to empower every person and every organization on the planet to do more and achieve more. And that is really at the heart of Microsoft, is that reinvention of productivity. So what do we mean by the cloud and the cloud moving mainstream? So we have seen phenomenal growth over the last few years in the growth of data centers, the growth of people using cloud, and the change in people's expectations of how they want to interact with the services that they use from the cloud, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, Hotmail. But if I just take you through some of these numbers as well, and some of the growth statistics, 107.2 billion is the predicted spend by 2017. So that's a growth of 23.5%. So that's huge. So worldwide public cloud services, people and businesses will be spending. Nearly 50% of large enterprises will have a hybrid cloud deployment by the end of 2017. So that essentially means, so when we think about hybrid, that's a mix of on-premise IT with some services that they pull down and hosted in a public cloud, and other services that are hosted locally in a sovereign data center. So that's the mix of hybrid, and having the ability to move from one cloud type to another and not being limited or restricted in one particular cloud. So really building your IT services around what's best for you and your customers and your needs really as a business. 72% of customers are leveraging cloud for their applications, from pilots to production applications. So for example, if you are an independent software vendor or a software application builder, you may be using public cloud already and may have been using it for a long time to do development and testing in those cloud services, to spin up a server to do some testing and then roll that out and put it onto a live platform. So that's been happening for a while. Increasingly though, we're seeing more of those development and testing scenarios actually stay up in the cloud as well, and ISVs being able to offer services through a public cloud, and more a service provider cloud as well, rather than an on-premise, because people and businesses want to have an annuity stream, and it frees up their cash flow, rather than making a big outlay up front for 3 years into a technology. Cloud means that services, and especially with ISV services, you can be much more nimble in your updates and the frequency of those services. Capitalize on opportunities with Microsoft Cloud OS. So we have 22 million servers running Windows Server 2003, nearing end of life in June, July. And there's a huge opportunity to talk to those data center servers and data center customers, talk about their upgrade path. Where are they moving to? What refresh cycles are they working on? Do they want to move to the cloud? What are their options? Do they want to move into a service provider environment, rather than taking it purely straight from on-premise up into a public cloud? They could take it into a service provider cloud as well. So 50 to 60 billion partner revenue potential Microsoft Data Platform. So that's about driving consumption through Azure, and that's also about driving Microsoft Server as well. 102% of Microsoft partner mobile device management growth estimate over the next 3 years. So that will be our Lumia platform and our service platform as well in Microsoft partner mobile devices, but also through our OEM partners as well. So we're seeing huge growth in the coupling of cloud and mobile devices. Really makes this very compelling when we're seeing more and more services being built around those mobile platforms as well. So I'll keep moving through the slide deck. Hopefully that gives you a sense of the scale over the next 3 to 5 years of the opportunity, really, and where Microsoft are investing. So 45, I'll just call out some numbers off the slide. 45% of total IT services will be spent on cloud by 2020. So if you're not looking at what your cloud offerings are going to be, you're going to be missing out on a huge potential of revenue and spend coming from customers over the next 4 or 5 years. On the right hand side of the slide, you've got customer IT budget allocation in 2015. So what percentage, we asked customers, what percentage of your total IT budget in 2013 is allocated to IT resources, and how do you expect the budget to be split in 2 years? So it's a fairly short time frame. So this is really over the next 2 years. You can see that 62% will be spent on hybrid and public cloud services, and that's them either taking existing services and infrastructure and putting that into a cloud, be it public cloud or be it a data center service provider cloud. It doesn't really matter. It's being able to provide that customer with that annuity model and an OpEx model. And we're seeing that 38% will continue to stay on-premise and as a sovereign and located locally and managed locally. So the road to hybrid is private. So this is 61% private on-premise will move to a private off-premise cloud is the dominant hybrid model. So that's essentially enterprises moving their locally managed data centers into a service provider or an off-premise but private cloud, and 32% spending on hosted private cloud. So it's the highest rate of growth for off-premise infrastructure. So this is people saying, okay, I want to free up my expensive IT resources and put that and use them elsewhere and use them to develop better revenue streams or new revenue streams for my business. And I want to free up some of that time by putting it into a hosted service. So again, this is where the industry is going over the next 2 or 3 years, and these are more ideas for you to think about and consider for your business. Or where do you think you could add value? Where do you think your services will sit within some of this opportunity? And what could you start thinking and putting in place today to be able to take advantage of some of that spend in the next 2 to 3 years? So hosting transformation, it's growing 4 times faster than on-premise, and it's one of the fastest growing cloud channels. So we have over 26,000 SPLA partners, and last year we added 5,000 net new in the last 12 months. So let me just put some of that in context. SPLA as a licensing currency has been around for about 13 years, and this is If you imagine, businesses will buy an EA, they'll buy their enterprise agreement, which allows them to buy the technology and hardware and get discounts for that, and they keep that agreement and that hardware for 3 years. SPLA has always been as a pay-as-you-go model, and we've sold that traditionally to service providers, hosting data centers or website hosters who want to offer and build their technology on Microsoft, on Windows Server, and they want to offer that as a pay-as-you-go model to customers. So we have seen over the last 2-3 years a huge growth, and especially in the last 12 months, of 5,000 plus net new SPLA partners, so new service providers coming into the market. There's a big split with a lot of that is coming from ISVs and system integrators as well, who've traditionally been selling on-premise private cloud, who are now looking at private off-premise, and how do they do that, and how do they keep those services going for their customers. There's a huge growth and huge opportunity. So hopefully the reason you're talking to Arrow today is because you're interested in taking part in some of that opportunity and becoming a SPLA partner yourself and carving out a niche in the market for your services and for your business. So hosting transformation, I touched on this already, but customers are looking and businesses are looking for different things these days. They want cloud enablement partnerships. They want to work with a technology partner that can enable cloud and offer cloud services within their business to free up their cash flow and provide an OPEX annuity model. They want to. It's not just about just having IT. They need those services and those IT and that technology to deliver business outcomes. And they want technology to enable those services. So within Microsoft and within the wider UK and IT community, we're seeing a lot of partnerships and competition changing really between hosters, ISVs, SIs, telcos, enterprises, outsourcers. A lot of these companies, they have in common a service provider layer. So a lot of them are becoming service providers to customers of different forms, whether it's through hybrid cloud, whether it's through SPLA, whether it's through private off-premise services that they're offering. But people are now, and businesses are looking at, what services can I offer my customer with the whole onset of cloud and the scale of cloud and the opportunity that delivers? What services do I want to offer and can I offer to my customers that they're looking for and asking for? So hosting business model differentiation. So how can I differentiate my business model? At the core of this is looking, do I go deep onto a particular product or do I scale across a breadth model? And that's really looking at your existing customer base and understanding your skill set as well within your organization and your knowledge within that base. So it's looking at geography. So do you have data sovereignty? Is that what your customers are asking for? Do you work with enablement partners such as control panel providers or billing providers that can provide those services to enable you to access some of that cloud aggregation? Cloud solution provider and Cloud OS network, there's some of the partnerships that Microsoft are building out with leading hosters and leading cloud partners to be able to scale and offer that product depth and product breadth for our partners. You'll see more about those partnerships and those programs over the next 2 to 3 years. Can I offer a sales channel as well to my resellers? Do I have a reseller network that I can offer sales channels through? Do I just need to be able to offer managed services and be able to make it simple for my customers? That is the main feedback that we get every day from customers, is please just help me make it simple. There's lots and lots of things. I want one bill, I want one vendor, I want one set of services really, but multiple opportunities for my business. Integrate and enable applications. So how do I work with ISVs and third-party applications to provide that value back into my customer? And again, do I specialize? Do I go into different verticals? Retail, for example, is a prime opportunity for cloud services because of the demand in peak. At peak times, and being able to pay for what you use is very important within retail. Again, manufacturing is an interesting opportunity because of the nature and the requirements around ERP systems. How can we work with manufacturing companies to help them move to the cloud because of the security and the reliance that they have on the ERP systems? There's naturally a lot of nervousness around that. So what can we do to help some of those other industries move that may be slightly behind the curve on moving to the cloud? And again, public sector is a huge opportunity for hosting and local services because of data sovereignty reasons and security reasons. That again, public sector are really looking to reduce costs as well. So it's a fantastic story for public sector and cloud. So hosting growth drivers. So why are customers, I've spoken a lot about this already, but why are customers looking at cloud and specifically hosting and moving their IT to a hosting partner? Because data centers get out of date very quickly and the technology dates very quickly. We are making hundreds and hundreds of updates to our Azure data center every day, and we've got teams and teams of engineering working on making those updates. All of those updates that we put into our Windows Server platform within Azure gets rolled into our Windows Server updates for our hosting providers. So it's the same product, the same kernel that sits at the heart of both Azure and our service provider offerings. So it's the same product that we can make sure that you are taking advantage as a hosting partner. You get to take advantage of all that opportunity. Reinvention of the desktop. So with the likes of Windows 8.1 and Windows 10, desktop has changed and people expect different things, and that's really driving a lot of the cloud first, mobile first decisions as well. Third-party applications, again, we're speaking a lot about ISVs. That's really customers are individual, and they have very individual businesses and have very individual needs for what services they want to consume from different partners. Again, that leads into the reinvention of the desktop as well, and cloud productivity. So cloud and mobile is all about being more productive, doing more within your day, and that all of those areas is where Microsoft are really focused, and that's what's really driving a lot of that growth from customers and from hosting partners. They're seeing huge opportunity around all four of those areas, and either some are choosing to focus on all four and some are choosing to focus and really lead in some of those areas to be able to offer some or all of those services to their customers. Again, these are some of the products that sit underneath that. So the modern data center, I've spoken about Hyper-V and Windows Server and System Center. Desktop hosting, again, great opportunity. We also work very closely with Citrix as well to make that integration with Azure as well absolutely seamless. Third-party applications through SQL and ISVs, we have a strong program. And cloud productivity, so productivity suite and cloud solution provider program, all really enable our customers and our partners to take advantage of the cloud. So what are some of the solutions or the opportunities, that are coming in the next 12 to 18 months? SMBs with aging servers, enterprises need more capacity, so as they grow, and for storage, how do they do that? And as their businesses grow, what do they need? Also trying to free up cash flow at the same time and trying to better utilize their existing IT resources. And ISVs want to offer cloud applications. So these are some of the three key opportunities over the next 12-18 months that we are seeing in the UK. So with SMBs with aging servers, so I mentioned Windows Server 2003, it's a huge opportunity. If you have any customers out there today, or you're aware of any customers on Windows Server 2003, start talking to them now, because if you're not, somebody else will be. Start talking to them now about what they do with their infrastructure, how they move it into the cloud. Whether it's in a hosting partner's data center, or whether it's in a public cloud, and again you can manage both of those services for that customer. Enterprise need more capacity. What does that mean? How do you do that? How do you help that enterprise manage a hybrid environment? Because they will probably want a little bit of cloud. They might already be using applications like Salesforce.com within their marketing, but actually the IT department may not know about that. So it's about bringing all those different hybrid and all those different services together. So ISVs want to offer cloud applications, but they don't necessarily want to be a hosting partner. They don't necessarily want to do the infrastructure themselves. How can you partner up with an ISV today and offer some of those services? I've spoken about the Cloud OS network. This is an investment that Microsoft are making into a select group of Microsoft partners who are building out a hybrid cloud solution that mirrors our Microsoft Azure global cloud and our Microsoft Cloud Platform. So using the same technology, they're building themselves a Windows Server, Hyper-V, System Center hosted cloud, and that is our Cloud OS network. So it's based on a select group of partners for large enterprise and SMBs to be able to work with a consistent group of partners that have got a huge investment in Microsoft technology. Cloud OS network global footprint, so 100 plus world-class partners who are adding 3.7 million customers every day and 600 plus local data centers in over 100 countries. So you can see here, this is quite an interesting map for me. You can look at where the Windows Azure data centers are in the blue, the Cloud OS network tier 1 partners and the Cloud OS network tier 2 and tier 3 partners. And these are, if you didn't want to set up your own data center, then you could work with a Cloud OS network partner to be able to host and co-locate some of your services within that data center and know that it's running on exactly the same platform with Windows Server 2012 R2, and you know that it's got the same technology and the same updates as our Windows Azure data center. So it's the confidence in that, and it's the peace of mind, and it also gives you local access to local partners as well. Again, here's a selection of some of the leading Cloud OS network partners, but that isn't to say that growth that we've seen in 5,000 net new SPA partners, that is other smaller partners, including ISVs, who have decided they want to be a hoster, and they're carved out a niche. They've got their customer base and they want to retain and look after their customer base. So they've set themselves up as a hosting service provider running on Windows Server and System Center and being able to offer that infrastructure hosted services themselves. So there's lots of options. You can do it yourself. You can put it into a Cloud OS tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 network data center, or you can put it into Azure. They're your options, and that's a true hybrid cloud with true mobility between those cloud services, which is a very unique offering from Microsoft. It's very unique in the market to be able to offer on the same technology, to be able to move applications into different clouds and be able to aggregate across those different platforms, and the ability to offer different services or a mix of those services depending on what your customer really needs and what they want, and over time to be able to scale up or scale down some of those different services. So it's really being able to offer a true hybrid and a true mix of services to customers. So access to private cloud, 45% of customers will be implementing cloud solutions that their connection to public cloud is through a hoster. So I was talking about this earlier around customers tell us every day they want to keep it simple. Please, Microsoft, keep it simple for me. Please make it easy for me to access these cloud services. I don't have time. I don't have the knowledge. I don't want to know. My core business is over here. I want to use IT to provide efficiency and productivity within my business. So again, that's part of the growth that's driving for hosted services, is that customers want hosters to act as an aggregator for them. They want them to act as that layer between the IT and the cloud services that they consume and just deliver it into my business and give me a bill. So Microsoft Azure for service providers, new opportunities here. So I'll let you read that slide. Increase your agility, find new business prospects, drive down your costs, offerings to explore. So what could you do with Azure? You could go through disaster recovery and backup, you could do hybrid cloud storage, you could do dev and test, identity and access management, and market coverage. So I encourage you to look at Azure, go through the websites. I can send you more information, or speak to your account manager at Arrow to understand how you could use some of the Azure offerings. But there's a lot there that you could access, and there's a lot there that you could do. So in summary, what is this hosting and cloud transformation that we're all on, and customers are on, and partners are on? It's all about delivering business outcomes now. IT and IT services need to offer a deliver a business outcome. It's no longer good enough to say that it's just the latest technology and that's why you need it. It needs to actually deliver a business service and an ROI to that business. And no longer is it just selling to the IT department. It's about bringing in and selling in at the board level as well, and understanding where that business is going, and selling into the shareholders as well, which will drive up that shareholder value. So it's making sure that IT and the cloud services are at the heart of that business to be able to add value. So no one size fits all. I've mentioned this, that with Microsoft you've got 4 or 5 different options of offering cloud, and it's really about what works for your customer and what they want to consume. Public and private cloud are converging. So again, going back to the no one size fits all, and customers want to make it easy, but customers are all different, and they all need, especially from public sector right through to the gaming industry, will look at what they currently have today. And also, if people have been investing in an EA, an enterprise agreement, they don't want to chuck away that legacy system or that current technology. They want to add on to it and enhance it and look at what new business streams. And that's where public and private cloud really converge, is when they can start to see the investment that they've already made in that technology and make it work for them. And then consumption. So no longer is it possible to just sell or open up a SPLA contract, for example, and say, okay, now you're a SPLA partner. That doesn't really work. You need to, the legal element is fine. You sign up as a SPLA partner, but then it's about driving consumption. So how do you help customers take those Azure services? How do you make money from those cloud services? By really selling and adding on more and more, making that customer sticky with you, essentially. So how do you make them stick with you? How do you make them stay and create loyalty within those services? Because within cloud, it's fairly easy to move around from different cloud service providers. So driving loyalty through consumption of additional services, and adding in more services, and adding in professional services as well around that, and building the relationship with the customer will really increase the value and the revenue back into your business. The other key area of hosted services as well is that we see hosting partners really selling up to 9+ hosted services, business services and applications into their customers. So that's huge. So customers will buy up to 9 services. So if you're only selling 1 or 2 today, look at what other partners are doing and look at what other applications, and to ask your customer, what else are they buying? Who else are they buying it from? And can they aggregate all those services through you potentially? And what can you do to help them? So thank you for your time today. Hopefully that was useful and just gave you an initial view on where Microsoft are going with cloud, the opportunities for you in your business, and things the priorities really over the next 12 to 18 months and where that revenue is and where it all lands, and where hopefully you can make opportunity and some revenue through that as well, and start offering cloud services and hosted services to your customers. Thank you.